Oh,
Right
yeah.
then, I think we are live. I don't actually know with this because I'm on StreamYard. Normally I do YouTube Hangouts, so I don't know, but it says I'm live. It says 10 seconds there, so we're cool. So today we have Corey, who many will know as Power Reselling, in the chat with me here. First guest I've actually had for quite a long time, so thank you, Corey, for coming on anyway. I really appreciate it. We do potentially have another guest next week as well. I'll keep that as a surprise though. But yeah, so what I want to do today is I want to talk to Corey a little bit about reselling, a bit about business, maybe a bit about his daily routine and also his plans going forward. And so, yeah, I'll just get straight on with this. Me and Corey have had a nice little catch up before the stream as well. And the first question I actually want to ask Corey, because I just didn't get to ask it him just before we went live, is what sort of time are you getting up at the moment then, Corey?
Chops and changes all the time. If I'm if I'm fully honest, sometimes I'll get up pretty early, but usually, honestly, the time that I get up is normally around like 9ish. Like it's a pretty normal. It's not like not like a crazy early time or anything like that. I'll normally, I won't set an alarm. I'll just let my body get the sleep it needs.
And then you do a day till 5, 6, and then clock off, or do you do later than
that? Chops and changes, but normally it's around 5 or 6, and then I'll get home, chill out a little bit, do a bit more computer work normally.
Yeah, bit of admin,
then, just switch off for the day. Yeah, basically like generate labels and stuff like that, reply to messages.
Yeah, of course. And do you find that the warehouses and things like that keep you more structured, like within that kind of normal framework?
Definitely, because it sounds bad to put it that way, but it feels like a job a little bit more.
Oh, yeah,
but it doesn't feel like it's really intruding on my life.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And with that kind of structure, you know where you are sort of every day. And that's, I'm assuming that's 5 days a week, or is that more than 5 days a week?
Normally it's 5 days a week, yeah.
Yeah.
That's normally the way that I do it.
Yeah, so that's not too bad as well. And so do you consider yourself sort of permanently off at the weekends, or do you do bits and bobs of work?
I do normally do bits and bobs, yeah, but I normally take the weekends off because my partner also has the weekends off, so it's like the time that we get to spend together, basically. So it's just making that work-life balance kind of work well.
So what I'll do is, because I've neglected an introduction there, so if you could just introduce yourself for like 30 seconds, a minute, something like that, what you do, etc., just for those who don't know you.
So my name is Corey, or as you see in the thumbnail, otherwise known as Power Reselling, which is my YouTube channel name, although I haven't uploaded on YouTube for a very long time, or definitely not consistently. I started reselling, I think me and Adz figured out just before we went live, about 5 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah. Maybe 5 years ago, because obviously you said you uploaded your first video 4 years ago, so possibly 5 years ago you started reselling. I would say that's about right.
I think so, yeah. And I just kind of started how a lot of people do. I sold a few things for my bedroom on eBay, and then I used that money to go to charity shops to buy stuff to flip on eBay. And then I did that for quite a while, and then I learned about Amazon, and then I just started investing a lot more time into Amazon, and just kind of scaled it up from there, basically, over the space of the 5 years I've been doing it.
Yeah, now, as far as I'm aware, you're doing brilliant for yourself. You've got your warehouse, and it's on the up. So kind of explain to people where you're at, I suppose, now. What does it look like right now for you?
So I guess the stage that I'm at now, it's nice because I've got the warehouse, which is a very big space. There's a lot that we can do with it. I've recently bought a van, which was a big change.
Wow, nice.
I went from driving a little Corsa, which I couldn't fit a lot of stock in, to a van that's had a few issues. Broke down a couple of times since I've got it, but it's doing okay. I can fit a lot more in there, and it gets me to and from.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at now. I'm mostly focused on Amazon over eBay, just down to personal preference, really, more than anything. But I am still listing and selling on eBay at the same time, but definitely my primary attention is definitely focused more towards Amazon.
So is it different I would assume it's very different items on eBay compared to Amazon, right, that you're listing?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, eBay, I'd still do more as like a nostalgic thing because I enjoy the hunt. I still really like going to charity shops. I love going to car boots and looking for things because I just find that a really enjoyable thing to do.
Yeah.
Whereas with Amazon, the stock, there's not as much love in the stock, which may sound a bit weird, but when I'm purchasing a large amount of stock for Amazon, it doesn't feel anywhere near the same as if I go to a car boot and buy a Bop It for 50p and sell it for £10.
No, I get you totally. I mean, when you're buying in bulk like that, because I've done it here and there, and you feel kind of as if there's not really much excitement in it. It's just something that you're doing, of course. And then when you're actually picking up, you go into the car boots, you go into the charity shops, you're hunting for these things. It feels so alive. It feels so much richness there, as if you're really trying to find things, find like hidden gems and stuff like that. So no, I definitely get that. I'm just going to check the chat anyway. We've got a few people in, say a few hellos. PvP's in the chat. Hi there, PvP. Tommy's in the chat. Hi there, Tommy. Chris is in the chat. And Michelle has just joined us as well. Oh, it's actually just jumped. Peter Way is in the chat. I don't think I've seen him in the chat for a while, so that's nice to see you, Peter. And I think, and the Monical's just joined as well. Hi there, the Monical. So yeah, everyone's joining in. If you've got any questions, of course, for Corey, whack them in the chat. BCP's also in. He's actually been very kind and put your channel in for you there as a link. So yeah, go over and check out Corey's channel. It is in the chat there. Shazadi's in as well. So yeah, any questions for Corey, whack them in the chat. We're just going to have a kind of random ramble or chat, I suppose. There's a few things that I want to kind of ask Corey and that I'm quite interested in. I think one of the other first places to start as well, and I don't know whether you've got some structured idea of this, but do you have kind of, shall I say, a philosophy of motivation or of goals or anything like that? Do you have any kind of set ideas and kind of motivation with regards to where you're going and what you want to achieve with, I don't know, maybe the next 5 years, the next 10 years, or if you can't think of that sort of time period, maybe a little bit less?
So that's something I've always struggled with reselling, because it chops and changes for me so often. So when I initially started reselling, my goal was just to make enough to buy my first car.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of chopped and changed from there. But it basically, I don't really have a long-term goal because I've always seen it as a stepping stone. So eBay was never my be all and end all. I didn't want my eBay business to be my business for the rest of my life. But I didn't know what I wanted to do after that. And then I discovered Amazon and I realized eBay was my stepping stone to Amazon. But I'm now in the same scenario where I don't want Amazon to be the be all and end all for me. It's just about seeing what comes over the horizon, basically, for me, really. I think ideally my long-term goal with Amazon is to build it to a point where it's self-sufficient and can run itself with minimal work from me, which is kind of that laptop lifestyle dream that you get sold on all of the fake courses and things that you see. But just from me having an overview of it from doing it for a while now, I know it's relatively realistic. Your profit margins drop, but you can hire virtual assistants to control your stock and things like that. You can use a prep center, so you don't actually have to deal with anything. So you can have like a purchase manager sending it to a prep center, and then the prep center sends it to Amazon, and all you really have to do is deal with emails. That's kind of my long-term goal with Amazon. And I probably like to start pushing more towards private label. Because a little story, somebody who I kind of know who is involved in the shelving unit thing story that I told you about earlier, which I'll go into a little bit more detail. He was actually an Amazon seller. He had private label products, basically built his business to the point of where I kind of want to get my business too. And he recently sold that business to a firm in the US for... it was in the 7-figure digit. I don't know if he'd want me to say. anything. But
obviously.
he was quite an old chap, but it was in the 7-figure digit, and there was only 3 of them that, like, 3 physical staff members, which I think is an absurd amount of money to be able to sell a business for that has 3 members of staff.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So you are basically saying, with regards to goals and things like that, that there's definitely flexibility in your future. You can go in many different ways, really. You know, you're not necessarily limited to one particular avenue. But I think, to be honest, from what I've seen of you on Instagram and knowing you as well, and also on YouTube, you've really landed with something that you are good at with Amazon. Like, you really are good at that, and you've seemed to take it from like this level down here to this level up here, and the sky's the limit with it, really. You know, and as you say, you possibly could make it so that then it's more streamlined, and you don't know the limits, really, of being able to kind of make it time efficient. And if it's time efficient, I mean, you can do other things with your time, and you can just do whatever you'd like, really. So that's always a brilliant thing, because it means that you've obviously got different avenues to explore there. So we spoke before the stream about something on TikTok, and you said that you wouldn't mind sharing the story on the stream. So before I forget, because I am prone to forgetting things, if you want to share that story, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, the same guy that I was just talking about, who just recently sold his business, the way that I got to know him originally, he was in the same yard as us where our warehouse was, and he had, I think, 8 or 9, no, I think it was more, maybe 12 40-foot containers on the yard. And because he was selling his business, he needed to get rid of everything that was in them. He'd already sold all his stock off to the US firm and stuff. And he had a lot of bays of shelving. He had 120 bays of shelving, actually, to be precise. And we managed to negotiate a deal with him, and we bought per bay, I think it worked out to £12 per bay. And these are big industrial ones that would normally cost £150 new. And me and a business partner of mine decided to see if we could set ourselves a challenge to sell all of them in one day, which sounds like a ludicrous thing. Like, shelving units are big. Luckily, he had a van.
I can imagine.
And we did manage to do it. We sold all 120 bays of shelving for £50 each in the space of a day. It was a very long day.
That is good going. That is very good going, though.
But if you do the maths, it worked out to a pretty good day. If we paid £12 per bay, sold all of them for 50 in one day. A lot of people came down to collect them. I think we sold about 40 to one person, just because they were so cheap. And throughout this day, basically, I decided to make a TikTok for like my first TikTok of what we were doing and the challenge that we'd set ourselves. And that TikTok managed to get 75,000 views, I think, which exploded in my head. Like, from doing YouTube for so long, my most viewed video being around 18K, that was a big step up in my eyes, definitely. But that was entertaining. Yeah, I had a really good time doing that.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I'm just going to go up the chat, because I know I've neglected it a little bit. I don't think we've had any questions yet, so it's okay. I don't think I've missed anything anyway. But I know a few more people have joined. So hi there, John. Hi there, Tracy. Hi there, couple of pickers. Nice to see you. I think that's everyone. Does Ads have any new merch? Well, kind of. Yes. I think there might be a link in the description. I don't know at this point. I've done a lot over the last few weeks, and I forget what I've done. So you just have to check down below in the description to see if I have any new merch. PvP says, good guest. Corey sounds like he has things figured out. Well, it really does seem that way, because, you know, you are very young. You've got this, you know, you've got a business off the ground. You've got, you know, got motivation, and you've managed to kind of, and the biggest thing I think actually is that you've managed to structure a day. because so many people in business, like in the business of reselling or anything like that, end up not really working in a structured manner. And, you know, they're quite kind of all over the place with it. It might even work weekends. They might work 6-7 days, and it'll get all blurred lines between personal and business and all the rest of it. Whereas you've got that kind of more honed down. You've got that kind of more streamlined with having the warehouse, of course, and being able to know that, of course, you've got this sort of set day and this set plan. Actually, that's something that we could come on to as well that interests me. What is your kind of daily routine in a sense? What do you do when you're on a typical work day?
So it chops and changes throughout the week, but normally it's always like a 9 to 5 day basically. But my usual warehouse day, I usually call them is I'll head to the warehouse around 8 or 9 sometimes, depends if I have orders to pack. But I will pack all of my orders. Sometimes that can take me up to like an hour, possibly, maybe even a little bit longer. It depends how many orders I have to do. And then straight after that, I'll take them normally straight down to the post office, or if not, I'll stick them in the van and take them down the morning after, just so it's out of the way and the parcels don't go out late. And then from there, it depends what I've been doing the days before, but maybe I'll be working on an Amazon shipment, or maybe I'll be taking eBay photographs, and that can take up quite a lot of time, as you probably know.
Yeah.
And Amazon shipments can, depending on how much stuff you have, it can take a while. If you need to polybag items, for example, and how many items you have, that can take like almost the whole day, basically, like upwards of 5 hours if it's a big shipment. And yeah, so it just kind of chops and changes as to what I need to do throughout the day. And then other days will be my retail arbitrage sourcing days. So those days I'll usually get up again around 8 or 9, and I will drive for about 2 hours down to Cornwall from where I live, just because it's the best area for retail arbitrage close to me, because around where I live there's not really that much stuff. So I'll just go to a place where there's more shops in like in a close proximity to each other. And then I'll kind of spend, well, the majority of the day just driving around, filling up the van, spending as much as I can. Then I'll head to the warehouse, unload everything, and then the day after that, I'll then go and do the shipment, for example.
Yeah. So it's like you've got a good day, really. You've got good days, because I think it would get quite boring if it was just the same thing, you know, whereas you've got this kind of structure where you're doing one thing one day, another thing another day, and it varies, it changes up. And you're doing on Amazon, you're not doing any kind of used items or anything like that, are you? Or are you doing the odd used item? No, just straight new and sealed?
None at all. Yeah, all new and sealed. Because I'm on my way to becoming VAT registered, I need to start being a lot more careful with selling secondhand items, because obviously the VAT rate is different for that, I believe. And I don't want to get stung by overpaying VAT on secondhand items. I don't really know how it all works. That's why I got an that's why I got an accountant to make life a lot easier. But yeah, that's just kind of what I need to focus on with Amazon, is keeping it all new, because I need the receipts for the books and everything like that as well. And just in case I ever got an IP claim on Amazon, which is an intellectual property claim, somebody saying that it's fake, I then have evidence to say, well, it's not fake because it came from here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think with Amazon, it's so good to do new stuff, because I remember when I was doing it, and I was doing a lot of used stuff, video games and all that. And as you say, polybagging things and labeling things and testing things, cleaning things when it's used items. It just does take up so much time. You can just be spending a lot of time. It's a time sink. And although you can make some great money doing it, and certainly in the past, probably it being a little bit more so easy to actually do Amazon as well, because I've not really been on Amazon for a while, so I don't know what the situation is with kind of ease of access and ease of selling things, you know, because back 5 years ago, you know, you didn't really care about being gated or anything like that. Everyone kind of could easily sell toys and games and stuff. Whereas over the last few years, all these restrictions coming in and all that sort of stuff, that makes it even more challenging. And actually, that's quite interesting to ask. what are the sort of fees looking like on Amazon at the moment? Because as I say, I've not been doing it in quite a while, so that'd be interesting to know.
I would say on par with eBay, if not a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But the fees vary on whether you're doing it merchant fulfilled, so you're shipping it out yourself. Then I would say it's pretty much on par with eBay, or if you're selling it FBA, so Amazon ships out your order, then the fees are a little bit higher, but you're kind of also paying for that service of them shipping out your products. And I think the extra percentage that you pay on top of the fees for someone to do that is definitely worth the money. And that was originally one of the reasons why I fell in love with Amazon, because packing orders was something that I really didn't enjoy doing, and replying to customer messages was something that I also really didn't enjoy doing. And when you boil it down, that's kind of like the soul of eBay is you're packing and shipping out orders and replying to customer messages.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're selling something FBA, you just stick it all in a box, send it up to an Amazon warehouse. Amazon will ship it out when it sells, and if the customer has any issues, Amazon will deal with that. And you don't hear anything else. You just put the stuff in a box and it's gone, and the money comes in once it comes in. Yeah. So that was like the big sell point for me, kind of, with Amazon over eBay.
So in terms of percentage wise, is it still about 35-40% fees, or a bit more, a bit less? What sort of percentage?
Varies category to category, very much like eBay. But yeah, I would say that's probably about right. Thinking of it, it's probably around that area. Yeah, definitely.
Because I remember most of the time when obviously I'd look at my reports and stuff with the fees, and I'd work it out, and it was roughly, some months I'd be able to get it lower than the 35%, and then some months it'd be around that, or some months it'd be around the 40%. And it isn't bad. I would agree that because they're shipping out for you, I mean, it's a huge thing. And people, I mean, I suppose a lot of people do understand it being a huge thing, but it really is a huge thing, because when you consider the time it takes to package all those items individually, if you were doing it on eBay, it's massive, that time you get back. And the only thing I would have said was with Amazon, I used to label all my items myself. You could pay for them to be labeled. It used to be 20p. It's probably now about 50p or something ridiculous. And I would always do that. And I never got them to label it, because I thought, well, that thing, labeling doesn't take too long. So I'd rather do it myself and not have them pay, or not have me pay them whatever it would be. If I've got 50 items or so, a tenner, 15 quid, whatever it may be, because it doesn't take too long. So is that something you do? Do you labeling, or do you pay?
I label it all myself, but sometimes I have sent it up and let Amazon label it, but only in certain instances, because to me it's pretty expensive, and it just eats away at your profit to pay Amazon to label it and pay them to polybag it and stuff. And you can save a lot of money by doing it for yourself. But the times when I have paid Amazon to do it, for example, last Q4, I was going around on a sourcing trip, and we drove from Devon up to, I think we were in Manchester, the Manchester area, sourcing.
Wow, so a long drive then.
Yeah, definitely. And we had a friend up there who has a storage unit, so we went to his storage unit to send out our shipments. But it was getting on at that time. It was probably about 12 or 1 in the morning, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to get on the road and start heading back. So it was still like a 5-hour drive home as well. So we just did the shipments. We didn't bother doing the labels and sent them up. But that's probably like one of the only times that I've ever really done it.
I think every now and then it's good to do, because sometimes you need to do it. But yeah, certainly, if I was doing Amazon now, I probably would do it myself. I've just noticed as well a question from PvP. Actually, I'll just put it up on the screen. What does Corey sell on Amazon? Aren't a lot of things gated now? Obviously, you might not want to say exactly what you sell, considering you're doing retail arbitrage and stuff, but maybe an idea.
Yeah, so you kind of hit the nail on the head with that one, really. With Amazon, you really can't disclose the exact products that you're selling, because it invites competition onto the listings, and Amazon is a lot more fierce in terms of competition than eBay, for example. Unlike eBay, you list things individually and everybody has separate listings, whereas on Amazon, everybody's listing the items on the same listing. Yeah. So the price wars are just going to be a lot more fierce because everybody's at the same place. So I can't tell you the exact items that I sell, but it's honestly all categories. I like to use the term you don't discriminate when you're sourcing for Amazon stock. So I'll sell toys, games, food, books, like anything basically. If it has a barcode, I'm going to scan it. And if it sells for more on Amazon than I can buy it for, I'm going to buy it and sell it. I don't really stick to any niche or any category or anything like that. And in terms of having things gated, that is definitely true. But over time, as you build up your Amazon account and you sell more, Amazon starts ungating you in products anyway. And the more you build up your account, if you find something that's gated, you can request to have it ungated. And the bigger your account is, the more likely you are to just be automatically ungated straight away. And yeah, so like with toys, for example, it's a little bit different. You have to provide a wholesale invoice of at least 12 units or more. But to me, that was definitely, I just went onto a standard wholesaler website, which is very, very easy to find. Just type in like certified toy wholesaler. And I bought 12 units from that toy wholesaler, just like exact Amazon specifications. Went through the whole process, got ungated in toys. I sold those toys for a loss because there was nothing on that website that I could buy for a profit. But the 50, 60 pound loss that made me, I've made way more than that back just from being able to sell in that category. So I know a lot of people don't sell on Amazon because they're concerned about being gated in categories. They're concerned that they won't be able to find anything to sell in certain categories, but there's ways around it. Like, and as you build up your account, you get ungated in more. So
yeah, I think that's actually a brilliant idea that you've done of just going to a wholesaler, buying the toys, and then getting that information, because it doesn't matter if you've made that loss. Like, it really doesn't, because I can see the potential in that of just being able to get ungated and just go for it. And I mean, a lot of those wholesale websites, the conventional ones, the things that people call low-hanging fruit, when you just go on Google and you literally see all of these ones pop up, there's really not like money in them, or not a lot of money in them, at least, because I've been through them so many times. I've been through the pallet websites as well, looking through the manifests and things like that, and it's very hard to make like any sort of margin on them, really. You might be able to make money here and there and stuff, but it's the kind of wholesalers that you can't find and things like that, and that you have to do work to get to, that are going to provide you with actual better margins and better results. But saying that, I've never really sold wholesale. I've only ever kind of researched it and looked at it that way. So people who sell wholesale, of course, can tell me a lot more. I'm just going to go up the chat just to see what we're looking at. I don't think we missed any questions, so I think we're looking good anyway. I know Shazad says, what does Shazad say here? Almost hitting the 500k ordered dispatch on eBay. 500k ordered dispatch. Do you know what that is? Ordered dispatched. Oh, as in 500k orders. Wow.
Orders. I
think
so,
orders.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of orders.
Incredible. Life is so much easier right now when you have slave labor. Oh my God, he's so bad, Shazad is. He's so bad. The Monocle has a question, actually. Corey, how much do you think meeting and working alongside Josh has forwarded your business? He's certainly an admirable reselling trooper. We were just talking about Josh before the stream, weren't we? So yeah, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, definitely. Hugely, 100%. The motivation, the self-motivation that guy has is mind-blowing. I don't know anybody else like that. I've never met anyone else like that. So just to spend time with him, we kind of bounce off each other in terms of when we spend time together, we start motivating each other unintentionally. It just happens every single time. But the way we met was quite funny, because he was looking to first get into reselling. I was watching reselling videos on YouTube, stumbled across my channel, and it must have been a vlog or something like that. And he recognized the town I was in and realized it was the town over from the town that he lived in. And he just thought, I need to get to know this person. He'd be able to help me get started. So he reached out to me and helped me move. I think I did a house clearance job or something like that, and he helped me move all of that stuff across. We just kind of became friends from there, started building up the businesses together. And it was very early on when I realized what kind of person he was. And he's just skyrocketed instantly, basically. Just working with him has definitely helped me out a lot. And I think vice versa as well. We wouldn't have the warehouses. We share those together. And just all sorts. Yeah, we definitely work together very well, and both are a good influence on each other, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, we were talking about this before the show, and I've seen kind of you two on Instagram, going back and forth with your stories, having a bit of banter as well, and just really genuinely working hard. And there was a time as well where you did a few videos, didn't you, on your channel with Josh, and going around sourcing and things like that. And it does. I mean, I've seen his Instagram, and watched many of his stories, and he is just on a different level. I mean, obviously, if anyone's seen Corey's Instagram, many times you've put massive Amazon shipments up and all the rest of it that I've seen. And it's very much the same with Josh, and he's just incredible. I mean, he really is a motivated person. And obviously it's someone to get to know and to get in with, like yourself, you know. And so, yeah, he really is. So I think he will have helped you quite a lot, actually. And I don't even think just in business, because you could think that way quite easily. Well, this person's helped me just in business or whatever, but just generally, like the friendship, life, all that sort of stuff, people help you in ways that you don't even know, that you're not even fully aware of for a lot of the time. So yeah, really motivated guy. I wanted to actually ask you as well, because talking about Instagram, actually, I know, you know, obviously I've followed you for ages, probably 3 years or something on Instagram. And I notice every now and then you talk about kind of being grateful, and I don't know whether it's you who's put on, maybe it is sort of affirmations and things like that. I think so, right? So tell me a bit about that. Tell me kind of why you do that, how that helps you, all that sort of stuff, because that's quite interesting.
I would just say I'm a very positive person. I'm a big believer in positivity. If you think positive thoughts, you feel happy. And I just think it's not very nice to go through your day-to-day always feeling that, because it's people like that. It's people who feel down constantly, who every day they've got a grey cloud over their head. And I kind of almost in a way indirectly do it to try and help people who are like that to kind of start thinking of the idea of maybe doing affirmations daily. I don't do it every single day, but I try to do it when I remember. Basically, I don't always put them on Instagram, but I did for maybe a few months straight every single day. It doesn't need to be anything, you know, insane either. You don't need to get super creative with it. Just any affirmation that makes you feel positive about yourself and confident in yourself. I mean, it's a psychology thing, isn't it? Affirmations are to constantly repeat something until it's lodged in your mind that is going to be true. So if you wake up every morning and tell yourself, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to reach these numbers one day, I'm going to spend more time with my family, I love my family, and all of these type of things. If you say that every day, it's going to become ingrained into your brain to the point of where that's reality. Like, you've spoken it into reality. So that's why I kind of do the affirmations, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of, in a way, foolish not to, because in a sense you've not got anything to lose from it, and if you do them, then I can definitely see how that could obviously formulate some sort of reality in your life, in the fact that you say these things, that you think in this way. I personally don't do particularly hard affirmations, but I always have a positive mindset. I always try to have a positive mindset. Of course, you get knocked back, you have negative times, you feel negative, you think negatively sometimes. That's just a natural part of life. You always have to have a little bit of that, but you don't have to let that control you. You don't have to keep ruminating and thinking about it all the time. You simply can just start to think more positively again. And so I think that that's very, very important. And as you say, there is a psychological element to it. And certainly, positive things can come from it. I don't know whether you've obviously you've heard of like the law of attraction and things like that. Because I was watching, and it's not so much my sort of thing really, into not the law of attraction, but the kind of cheesiness of things like The Secret. I don't know if you've watched The Secret or you've read the book or anything. It's almost a bit cheesy. It's almost a bit of a turn off, but the core message is, of course, the law of attraction, and that kind of has this ethos of bringing positivity into manifestation. So you've kind of done a little bit of that, have you? Have you thought about that or not?
Yes and no, I think. Okay. I would definitely say more on the side of yes with the affirmations, and because I think in a sense the affirmations, psychologically speaking, are law of attraction. Yeah, in an essence at least. I do all sorts of type of things to kind of clear my head and keep me in that space. I went through a phase where I was meditating every morning. I was waking up at a stupid time. I was getting up at like 5 a.m. and going to the warehouse, making myself a little green tea, putting on some Alan Watts for maybe 20 minutes, and then just sitting there meditating for 15 or 20 minutes. And it definitely makes you feel good.
Of course, yeah.
But it's difficult to stay consistent at it, I think, as with a lot of things. As good as it makes you feel, it's a lot of effort to do it every single day. So it's just more on the days that I can remember. What was the question again? Sorry, I just completely went off.
I was just inquiring about whether you've sort of heard of the law of attraction, whether you utilize it. It wasn't really a specific question. It was just a comment, really. But certainly with meditation things, I mean, I've done that many, many times before. I kind of got into it, got out of it, got into it. For me, I've always been a person who likes to read and stuff like that, at least for the last few years, not particularly in my childhood. But I've always had that kind of ethos. And so the meditation, I don't know whether you're familiar, but it's in Hinduism. There's different paths that you can follow. There's like the Jnana path and the Bhakti path and things like that. And the Jnana path is the path of knowledge. So you read and you do things like that. Whereas there's other more kind of physical paths, and they're to do with yoga and meditation and things like that. And so I absolutely loved meditation, and I got to the point where I was starting to do walking meditation and things like that. But as you say, it does get kind of, you slip in and out of it, and it becomes hard to keep a routine with it. And then you end up kind of just falling back to not doing it and to just doing whatever it is you're doing in life. But it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, you know, whatever you're doing to progress and to help yourself, and not even really to progress, but to just feel more contented in yourself as well, just daily, then that's great, isn't it? You know, so but it's interesting to hear you say you've done meditation. I know I did hear it on your story maybe once or something, but I didn't know whether it was something that you'd done numerous times. I thought maybe it might have just been something you'd done once or twice.
Yeah, no, I got pretty into it for quite a long time. Definitely a good few months at least. I was doing it more or less daily. And I got into the routine of going to the warehouse ridiculously early, making myself a green tea. It was in winter as well, so it was like freezing cold because the warehouse doesn't have any heating. And I would just sit there. Initially, it was with guided meditation. And then after a while, I then just kind of went on and just did it on my own. And I got into it through audiobooks, actually. I'm not a very good reader. I'm not very good at sitting down and reading books, but I enjoy the knowledge that is within the books. So normally, for example, if I'm going out sourcing and I have 2, 3, 4 hours of driving to do that day, I'll stick on an audiobook throughout the day. And when I'm going into shops, I'll have it in my headphones and things like that. One of the books that inspired me most to start doing it, I think, was Tim Ferriss' Tool of Titans. I don't know if you've read that book.
No, I haven't. No.
It's a chunky book. I have the physical book. I started reading it and I just couldn't do it, so I just downloaded the audio audio book instead. But the book is about like that thick.
Yeah. Probably about 700-800 pages, surely.
What was that? What was that from outside? Sorry, that was just a strange noise that happened. I think that was from outside, wasn't it? I don't know. No idea. Nothing's on fire. But yeah, that book, basically the whole thing that he did, the entire book is just interviews from him and a lot of very successful people, or the titans as he calls them. So like Tony Robbins and all of these different large business owners. And in every single interview,
Napoleon Hill then.
Very similar. Yeah, yes. Very similar. But in almost every interview, I noticed there was a reoccurring theme of kind of self-care, meditation, affirmations and things like that, and creating a routine out of it. So that was what initially got me into it, basically.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I've never read that book, but it sounds very, very interesting. And Napoleon Hill's always been on my radar to look into and to read. I've never got round to it at the moment. I've got my reading list is basically, I've got a reading list till I'm dead. So, adding any more is like, well, God, I don't know about that. But but he's been on my radar. And I liked the idea of someone going to all of these very successful people and actually picking out all of these different things, different habits that they do, and then actually putting that into a book, into some content that then can be read, can be listened to, whatever, in a fairly quick, short amount of time. And you can get all of that wisdom, all of that knowledge from all of those different people. I think that's a brilliant and such a powerful idea as well, to be able to actually do that. I don't even think it's a business thing necessarily, but I actually think it's more of a philosophical thing, and putting a certain philosophy of life together out of these things that are in these books. So I think it is very, 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 very good and very, very interesting, those kind of things. I'm just going to quickly look up the chat.
It made me laugh. Pleasant Valley Picker saying, "Was that a snake? Was that a snake hissing?" I honestly have no idea what that was. It sounded like it sounded like a plug was like sparking out or something.
It did sound quite like a hiss. It was weird. Right, I think Lee's put something in the chat. Lee says, I meditate and chant most days. It always helps set my day up, and it helps with my mental health. I always recommend it to my friends. I think that's the thing, really. So many people do it now in the 21st century. And considering that really it wasn't known about 150 years ago. One of the kind of early adopters of it was around late 1800s, early 1900s. I forget the name. Christmas Humphreys, that was his name. One of the early kind of Buddhist scholars. And then, of course, he influenced Alan Watts. And we know many people know about Alan Watts. And then come like the 70s, 80s, people, there's this big influx in the West of yoga and meditation and all these things. And these days, everyone does it. Everyone knows about it, and everyone can utilize it as well. And that's, I think it is a good thing. And I think that if that didn't happen, if that kind of migration of this Eastern wisdom, shall we say, didn't come into the West, I think that a lot of people would be more suffering. And I think a lot of people wouldn't be benefiting from it, So, I can understand why people do it. I really can. Shazad says The Richest Man of Babylon is a great read. Have you read that?
I haven't actually. I think I've seen it advertised, but I haven't read it. No.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've not read it. The Monocle has a question actually. Has the pandemic had an impact on your sourcing for Amazon stock for your business, or have you managed fine with wholesale?
So I don't actually do that much wholesale in general on Amazon, purely for the fact that I'm not currently VAT registered, and not being VAT registered kind of impedes you doing wholesale quite a lot on Amazon, definitely. But the pandemic didn't really affect me from sourcing at all. As I'm a limited company, and I was going through it and I was trying to figure out, because obviously it was confusing for everyone, wasn't it? So I was going through and trying to figure out like what this meant for me. Can I not go out sourcing? What do I have to do in this situation? And I asked a few people, spoke to a lot of people who had like a deeper understanding on the topic. And as I was a limited company, I was able to basically verify myself as a key worker because I was in food distribution. So I was still sourcing in more or less the same way as I was originally, because my business fell under the category of food distribution, was able to still operate with what that kind of contended with, which was something that I kind of had to work around properly and kind of fit into the scenario of keeping myself safe and also keeping everyone else safe at the same time. But it was a benefit to me that I worked really hard trying to figure out how to do that. Because a lot of people didn't, which meant there was a lot less competition at the time. And I was still doing a lot of OA and things like that, getting a lot of orders online. But the explosion of sales that was caused by the pandemic is basically what has put me in the position that I am today. If that didn't happen, I would be very far behind from where I am now. Definitely 100%.
Could I just get you to shout out your Instagram, because PvP said, is there an Instagram link? Probably just easier to say your handle or type it in or something.
Yeah, my Instagram is Corey.j.journey. That is my reseller Instagram. The one that BCP put on there was like my old Instagram. Before I started reselling, really. I don't really post on that one very often. But I'll type it in the chat.
Have you got any plans in the future at any point to kind of come back to YouTube and do it in kind of regular way or not?
I would love to. I would really like to get back to making YouTube content, but there's two main factors that hold me back from it, really. I would say the first main factor is the amount of time it takes, because if you don't make YouTube videos, you really don't have a clue at how long it really takes to create, edit, and put out a video. And I used to spend hours editing my videos.
Oh my God, I can sympathize with that. Yeah.
But like when it's a 20-minute video, you have no idea. Like, but yeah, I would definitely love to come back to do it. I said there was two reasons, didn't I? What was the other reason? Because I'm mostly selling on Amazon now, I find it a lot harder to create content around that, because I don't consider myself as one of these Amazon gurus. Like I can tell you the answer to all the questions that you have, because that's just not true. And that was very evident with my old YouTube videos. I made the videos to document what I was doing, and I would say that all of the time in my videos. So I don't really want to change the direction of the content that was on the channel to me becoming a teacher, because it's just not who I am. I like documenting. But it's a lot harder to do that on Amazon because I can't show you guys the products. Like I would love to do a warehouse tour. I would love to upload a video of showing people around the warehouse, or around both warehouses, but it's impossible to do without either blurring out the entire screen for the entire tour, or I wouldn't be able to take out all of the products because the warehouse would be empty. So it's difficult. It's difficult. I'd have to kind of spend a lot of time working out how I would make it work.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine. And yeah, I mean, actually, we're getting to the end. We're getting to the hour now. I can't believe it. What are we're on? Yeah, 7:50. Well, it must have gone live exactly at 7 as well. I'm just having another little look up the chat, just to see.
No problem. It has gone very fast. It's been really nice to be back on a live stream because it's been so long since I did it. I do think it's definitely been over a year since I last came on a live stream.
Were we on a live stream together the last time you did it, or were you on a different one?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure.
No, I don't know. I don't know myself.
I think you were. I think the last ever one I did was when we were doing you remember when we were doing the Reseller Lads Live in conjunction with like the ladies were all doing it as well?
Was it one of those?
Like, I think so. And it was the one that was maybe on Nick's channel. I think that was like one of the last lives that I did, possibly.
Oh, I thought it might have been one of the ones where it was me, you, Andrew, and KLC, or something like that, or me, you, and Andrew, or maybe one of those, but maybe they were before.
Honestly, I've got no idea. They all kind of just merge in.
I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue either. So I know it's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible. Mm-hmm. Do you know also if there's any reseller chats kind of still going at the moment? Because I'm not even on the YouTube scene, so I don't really know. I'm
the same, to be honest. I'm very disconnected from it.
Yeah, very disconnected.
So if I see people alive, sometimes I'll pop in and say hello. But I don't spend as much time as I used to watching YouTube live streams and things like that. Because I was more or less on every single live stream when it was happening. I would always go in and say hello, show my face, stay on for the whole chat. But after I stopped making YouTube videos and kind of fell out of that like process, basically, I don't know really anymore. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it got very informal as well, didn't it? Like everyone would, and I say that in a very positive way. Everyone would just jump on the live streams, and it'd be really good. Everyone would get to know one another. Everyone would be friendly with each other, and even not even just on the live streams, but behind the scenes, like people chatting on Instagram or Facebook, and you did feel like, especially back then, a big part of this community. Now, I really do wonder, and I've wondered for the past year or so, not being in the community, whether there is still that kind of dynamic that goes on. But I feel as if maybe it has just become a little bit more disconnected, and possibly not as many people do live streams. But I couldn't say for certain because I'm not really involved with it. But it would be interesting to know,
Mm-hmm. I think what makes it harder to follow is when you're not directly part of that community anymore. New channels appear all the time, don't they?
Yeah.
It happened throughout my entire time of doing YouTube. I'm sure it happened throughout your entire time of doing YouTube. You see these channels appear, they're quite loud for quite some time, and then they just disappear and fizzle out.
Yeah.
And I think in amongst all of that, a lot of things kind of just got lost. So if you're not part of directly the community and paying attention to everything, it's quite difficult to see. But yeah, like I said, I've got no idea really. And Nick still goes live weekly, doesn't he? I believe.
I think so. Andrew still does, or not? Does he?
Yes, Andrew still does, because I see him post it on Facebook. I think Drinking with Andrew is the one that I see.
I occasionally chat to Andrew on Instagram, but very sparsely these days.
Mm.
I mean, we were chatting for quite a while, even when I was still at uni, like sort of tail end of last year. But then sort of just, you just fizzle out, conversations fizzle out, and then that's that, But no, it'd be good to chat to him again anyway. I mean, if he's free, because I know he's very busy at the moment. He said to me last time we spoke, which was only a few weeks ago, that he's been really busy with eBay and all the rest of it. But if he is free at some point, I'd love to get him on this show, actually, have a bit of a catch up.
In terms of business and investing and stuff like that, how's that all going for you on your side? Because you don't really talk about it all too often on YouTube anymore, do you? Really?
No, not really. I mean, obviously, I've got a lot of hate. Well, not hate, but just that's kind of definitely the wrong word. Just kind of a bit of backlash of like, oh, why don't you do YouTube? Why don't you do Reselling anymore? Why don't you do this? All the usual kind of stuff. And obviously, I've been doing my Reselling over summer and had about 50, 60 items on eBay. Made a little bit of money, not a huge amount, like 500-600 quid, something like that's like sales as well. And I'm just, the problem with me is I'm always evolving, I'm always changing. It's kind of a bit of a cliche phrase, evolving, but it suits what I do so well that I kind of have to use that phrase. And I've got projects on the go here and there, and I can't facilitate what any other person wants me to be. I realized that probably about 2 years ago now. You have to do what it is that comes naturally through you. And so for me, that's a lot of things. That's reselling, that's investing, that's poetry, that's philosophy, psychology, all these I would say they're my big five, and that's what I have on this channel now, that kind of mentality of those things specifically. But with regards to, investing, I adore investing at the moment. I absolutely love it. In fact, that was one of the things I was going to ask you as well. We'll have to wrap up on that one after I've just done speaking here. But yeah, investing I adore it. I of course, as you know, I do crypto, and I do crypto and stocks mainly, but I do Lego as well. And I do have a small banknote collection, which I consider an investment, but I don't really add to it that much. I do want to get into that a bit more. Maybe sort of next summer when I've got a bit more money, because obviously during the year at university, you're blooming broke. Every penny just goes on to uni. So, but yeah, it's brilliant. And I love doing the dividends on Trading 212. I do mainly dividend stocks. I'm mainly a dividend investor. I love doing the crypto. I don't talk about crypto so much because I just get a little bit nervous about talking about it, not from a perspective of, oh, you do crypto or anything like that. I'm not bothered about that, but I get nervous because I do have some investments in it now, and I don't want to open that up to everyone. I don't want to shout about it or anything like that, because I think that would be quite foolish. But nonetheless, I still do want to, and I've been trying for a while to fit some sort of way of talking about crypto into my videos or into a specific investing video, so that then people can get a bit more insight into that part of what I'm doing. But it is hard because, you always have to some degree protect your own interests and stuff. But anyway, we'll end on this question with regards to you about your kind of investing and where you think you're going with that, and potentially kind of generally what you do and all that sort of stuff.
So at the moment, I'm very similar to, as you said, a dividend investor. I think I'm more or less only invest in dividend stocks.
Yeah.
I stay away from hype stocks or anything like that.
Of course. Oh my God, GameStop. Oh,
yeah, and AMC. Like, people made a lot of money, but it's one of those things. If you're not in the initial group of people who are deciding to initiate this to happen, chances are you're probably not going to win in that scenario. So I more or less just use investing the way that I always like to describe it. I just kind of use it as a savings account, and the dividends are my interest.
Yes, that's similar to how
it's a lot better than the bank. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's my main reason for doing it. I did day trading when I was in college, and I did okay with it, but that was just pure luck. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing, but it just managed to work, and I managed to make some money. But now it's more just long thing, basically going for the dividends. I don't really have a long-term plan with it. It would be nice to be able to build it up to a point of where I'm getting paid like a yearly salary wage from dividends, but obviously I'm still a pretty long way away from that.
So a yearly salary wage, so what are we talking there in thousands?
Like an average salary wage. So I kind of worked it out to the point of that you need up to like 100,000, just over 100,000 invested to be able to get like minimum wage paid back in average dividend yields.
Oh, I don't know about that. Average dividend yields. You wouldn't be getting a minimum salary from 100 grand. Surely it would have to be 200, 250 grand. Surely.
I think I worked it out to. I only did it on one dividend paying stock when I was working it out, but I think it was like 140,000 that you needed to have like. But minimum wage is like. I think it was 7%. It was pretty high at the time. It was I think BP maybe last year.
Yeah, but I mean it's well, I mean
hit and miss, isn't it?
Stock, isn't it?
Yeah, my best performing stock at the moment is also my worst dividend yielding stock, which absolutely sucks. I started investing again in the height of like the economic crash of the start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
There couldn't have been a better time to get into it, really, just from having the previous experience of being in the markets and kind of knowing average prices, to then seeing this massive slump where prices dropped lower than they did in 2008. I just kind of thought, okay, I'm starting to accumulate a little bit of money through my business. Maybe I should put some of it over here because I know this is going to go back up.
Yeah.
And in a year, I have about 12, maybe 15 different stocks. And I'm up an average of just over 22%, I think.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah,
My best one being Wells Fargo, which is paying an awful dividend at the moment, less than 1%, but it's currently up 88% from when I bought in.
Well, there we go.
Which is ridiculous.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. I just wanted to say as well, Zahir's popped in before. So hi there, Zahir. Not seen you in a long time. Nice to see you popped in. I'm just going to go down as well. But yeah, I mean, I put most of my money in April because I took a good chunk out of cryptocurrency and then transferred it over. I know we had, occasionally we have short conversations about it, don't we? About kind of investing and things like that on Instagram. But yeah, I love it. I do. I mean, for me, investing is just a rush, and it kind of fulfills my sort of 16-year-old's desire to do these things, and just to have that kind of thing going on, like spinning all these plates and stuff. I love that. But yeah, I just think it's just an awesome thing, really. I don't think we've got anything else in the chat, so that's cool. I've just gone down, but I'll have to go back up again.
Can I end it on one question for you? Do you still have the long-term dream of Adz Emporium? Do you ever remember I think it was the Thursday Talks episode years ago. I think it was the first ever video I watched of yours, and you were talking about Adz Emporium and riding through the shop on a lion topless or something. Like video exists somewhere.
I probably said that, I really do think about it. Although maybe was it that, or was it, I think I said that if we go to a reseller meetup, I'd come on a lion through some double doors, like stripped naked or something. I don't even know what I said. Well, it's weird, the whole Adz Emporium thing, because it's changed a lot. I still have this kind of idea of some sort of premises where I'll be doing very, very obscure, a premises where I'll be doing something that's something creative and weird and wacky, but it's not necessarily a shop. It's I don't know. It could be a shop. It could be a factory of some sort. But I have this kind of idea, and it's a very vague idea, and it's something I'll probably do. If I do it, I'll probably do it in my 50s. It's probably 30 years off. And I have this vague idea of something interesting to do with a premises, but I can't work it out yet. But I know if I did it, it would be very creative, very weird, very random, and it would really fulfill that kind of eccentricity within me. And that's something that I'm very looking forward to doing if obviously it comes to fruition. But other than that, I don't really know. I've not got any set in stone plans with something like that. I mean, I've got, well, I say hundreds. I've got at least tens of ideas that I want to do that I need to see through, and some of them will take quite a lot of money to do. So first they have to try and get a good bit of money to then put them into fruition. So yeah, you know, it's just it's definitely another thing present in my mind. But yeah, so many different things to do before that. I've got a lot of motivation. I've got a lot of desire to do things. I just need to get, really at the moment, and it might be the same for you, it's finding the time to get all these things sorted. Writing books and then when I go back in September to doing university and doing reselling a little bit and YouTube and poetry and all these goddamn different things, it takes a toll, and you do kind of feel as if you are kind of just, one day you've not got everything done that you wanted to get done, and so you think, well, don't worry, it'll roll over to the next day. But then it accumulates over months, and you've actually got a lot of things done. You don't realize it at the time, maybe, but you've got a lot of things done. But you feel as if there's always loads of things to do. And so that's definitely what it feels like for me at the moment. It has done for about 4, 5, 6 months of this year. I've been kind of chasing my tail and trying to just get the things done that I need to get done. So it's just how it is.
I've always found like to-do lists and things like that helped me out a lot more.
I do a lot of them.
I just think whenever I feel like really scatterbrained, like feels like there's loads to do, when I put it in a to-do list, you kind of realize, oh, it's not that much to do. Yeah. When it's on paper, it kind of takes it out of your brain in a way. I don't really know the best way to describe that, but that helps me a lot.
Currently, at the moment, I've got which you may have seen on Instagram, a to-do list on an art pad where I draw a little border around it, and I do like 10 things for the month. And then my main to-do list for the month. I have a daily to-do list that I write every evening before I get up. And then currently in front of me, behind the camera here, I've got 1 sheet of paper there and 3 sheets of paper there with goals on, plans on, a major to-do list over summer on. So basically I've got a daily to-do list, a monthly to-do list, and then a 3-month to-do list over summer. And that's, you know, I go to that level of detail. And then what I do is, obviously, if I feel like I'm getting off my mark a bit, I'll take a look at my monthly to-do list, and then I'll think, right, I need to structure myself based on the monthly goals now and realign myself. And if that's not helping, I'll look at my major sort of 3-month goals and think, right, what are some things that I need to be sort of distilling into the daily to-do list right now, so that then I can feel more motivated and get a little bit more of a shift on. Also, what I do is if there's things that I'm doing and I'm getting a bit bored, they're getting a bit repetitive, I'll switch them out for new projects. I would just drop a project if I'm getting bored with it. Be like, no, you can go for 3 weeks time. I'll do you in 3 weeks time. Then I'll work on something new. So obviously at the moment I have, I'm working on 3 to 4 books. Just, you know, some of them I've dropped for a bit and others I'm picking them up. Obviously poetry is as it is as well, and that's part of the books. I'm working on my reselling, my YouTube, sorting stuff for uni, of course. I'm doing a love questionnaire to do with a philosophy book I'm going to be working on, trying to do reading, trying to look at journal articles on psychology, goddamn, like a million things. It's ridiculous. And but this is how I like to live. It's interesting. It's exciting. And yeah, at times it may get a bit taxing, but it's exciting, you know? It is exciting for the most part. So, yeah, anyway, I think we'll leave it there, and because we've been just over an hour. So thank you very much for joining me, Corey. It's been an absolutely wonderful chat. I've managed to get to know so much about what you're doing currently and all that sort of stuff, which I was really glad to get to know, because as I told you before the chat, I was really excited to get you on and to kind of have a chat with you properly, because on Instagram, as I say, we chat here and there, but only in very short bursts and stuff. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you everyone in the chat as well. Just say some goodbyes before we go. So bye to Zahir, bye to a couple of pickers, bye to the Monocle, Bye to Gary. Gary's just joined us, actually. Bye to Chris. Bye to Tommy. Bye to PvP, of course. Bye to BCP. And I think we're getting about there now. Bye to John as well. So yeah, thanks for everyone for joining us, and I'll be back next week at 7 p.m. We have got a guest next week, all being well, and yeah, I will see you very soon. So see you very soon, guys.
Goodbye.